Can you push to go live? I can't do it. I've done it now. Oh, bloody hell.
Welcome everybody to Talking Hawks. Might have been a choppy intro there, but it's good to be back with you all. I've got Chris here tonight. You got the Brothers Green, and yeah, we're up and about. How are you, fans? Let us know in the comments. Chris, tell us.
Comments, yes. Well, sort of went into the game sort of hopeful that we were a chance, and maybe I sort of just got that gut feeling, or maybe it was Fremantle's ladder position that got in my head. But yeah, as soon as that game started, and it was an arm wrestle from start to finish, it just gave me that confidence that we were going to get there at the end.
Yep. Fans, in a word, how would you describe the Hawks at the moment? Drop it in the comments as people jump in. But a day after what was a really strong victory, I think, showing that we can win in different ways. My word, I'm gonna go with resilience. I'm enjoying what we're seeing from a team that wanted to galvanise after being embarrassed against Geelong, and they did. And we're seeing a team that can win in different ways. So we'll keep an eye on the chats. Many of the regulars with us here, Chris, tonight. It's good to see.
Yes, it's a bit hard for the Twitter or X followers, as my little meltdown at the start. We can't do X or Twitter tonight, so we'll try.
Okay.
Yes, we have to have a premium account, so we'll can't stream
okay.
it. We'll fix that up.
We'll sort that out. But well, Chris, in a word, how would you describe the Hawks right now? What have we got for us?
Emphatic? I don't know. It's the first one that came to me. Yeah, we just keep rising to the occasion and not relying on the same people every week. So it's somebody else is standing up and just filling the holes. So
it's so good, isn't it? So good.
Yep.
Even the MVP votes, we get those out. We take a little bit of time looking at those. It's fascinating picking, because it's usually a team effort, and we've done it again. It's so many different things.
I only just read it not long before we come on, and I was sort of interested at the everyone's selections. So yeah, no, it was a very hard week to choose the MVP for sure.
I'm not sure that some of the words coming through: tenacious, exuberant, determined, wizardly, like that, Sean, motivated. Cons with me, I'm resilience. Delicious, Fabio. Bit of Bruce.
Wizardly, nice. Do we start with the wizard?
Oh, let's take it away. Everyone, what were your thoughts on the Wiz?
I thought not that he hadn't been previously doing it, but I felt like he did push more back, like Ginnivan had been doing for us. So yeah, that part of his game stood out to me. His tackling and pressures second to none, really. And yeah, he's slowly just making a bigger impact on that scoreboard.
Yeah, it's efforts. He's just listening to what the instruction is, and it's going pressure, crumb, be where you need to be. But his pressure last week was a standout for mine at the Geelong game as well. He was just the repeat efforts, quick to his feet, which is brilliant. But his intensity is really, really good. It sets a tone. Oh, we go. We've got some nice predictions coming through with the Wiz. The goal, Scully, ice in the veins.
Yes, it won't be far away. You can feel it. It's coming.
He's up and about, and the boys all got around him. Didn't they love that one? It was good to see that team bond.
And there you go. Maxwell, he was only credited with 2 tackles. I thought he had more. And yeah, if you'd asked me how many, I would have said at least 4 or 5 myself. So there you go.
Yeah, pressure acts, all of that. It's we can dig some of those out, but I think it's you tap back to the glory days. Opposition didn't have much time to think when there was a Puopolo and a Cyril Rioli lurking. It was, they were hearing footsteps. I reckon we've got someone that's going to do that right now. All right. I'm just loving that we're finding new ways to win. As I said, I think the big one for mine, I really enjoyed the back six, again, really solid. I'm thinking through how to go over, with the MVP. I'm like, Scrim had a good game. Frost again, occasionally they're losing a matchup, but so often they're just working beautifully together. Clearly trying to cover for the skipper, who I don't know what you could do in the speed of the game that it goes when he can't necessarily pressure and tackle. But it's Weddle. You were a fan, Chris, in your MVP votes.
Yes, I probably could have just given it to the three midfielders, and I just fought against that. And then I was like, okay, who am I going to give it to? I mean, the obvious one was probably Sicily. I just felt he had a courageous effort, get out in the park, and had a big influence on the game. But I just felt like he was a liability for half the game while he was down back. He couldn't tackle properly. He couldn't hit contacts hard in the air. So that, for that reason, is why I sort of didn't put him in my votes. And also he's got the 3 goals. That was great too. One of them tiptoed off the ground, just a little toe poke, which is great.
They come.
And then another one fell into his arm. So it was sort of,
No, he protected the space a bit. Like when you've done a shoulder, I've done them many times, like to keep it below that height, fine. So he protected the space really well. He had opponents around him, on him. Yeah, there was pressure. It was, hey, he did what he needed to do. I went back to have a look. What was his time forward? So it was exactly 50% of the third quarter. And he was defense 50% forward. And then so in a quarter and a half to drop 3 goals, meaningful goals. That was very, very notable after less than average first half.
Well, that was part of what I was happy with Sam making those changes, put Weddle forward for that quick burst, got that goal, put Sicily forward at a important time, and obviously identified that he was not being able to compete as good as we probably needed him to. Like, he was doing okay in the back line, but it was definitely restricted. Yep.
Well, you touched on the mids. I'll go through some of these. Steve John says he can't get over Warple's consistency this year.
Mm-hmm.
Is it me, or is he getting fitter and runs the games out longer?
Yeah, his last month, got off to a flyer when our midfield wasn't going so great. Probably had a little lull, which still wasn't bad footy. And then I could have given him 3. Honestly, could have.
Yep.
It was the toss of the coin for me out of those mids.
Daisy, Jai, Nash, the role play of Nash, I couldn't go past that.
That's why.
Fans, who have you got of those 4? Who stood out and why? Because they all did different things, and it was sensational to watch. Not to mention, not to leave Meek out, but those 4 mids that they rotate through, they're really knowing each other well, and that's no slouch team. The midfield of Freo, it's phenomenal what we just did this round. Yes, they're 3rd on the ladder. We probably do go all right against them when they have to come all the way down to Launceston, but they've had our number in recent times. So it was a really solid win.
Yeah, I think they've won the last 5 or 6 against us, and I think one of them was down in Tassie. So amongst the other venues we've played, and I'd almost feel like had we had to travel to Perth, we may not have got the win. We'll never know. But it's set us up in a good position to still have an influence on these finals and potentially play one ourselves. Still there.
Yep. On Nash, Chris Lloyd here, good in key moments. He's creating space. There was 1 or 2, and it was must have been his only 2, because he went at a really high clip for his disposal efficiency. Just the odd one. He didn't have a lot of time. He was a little bit of a hospital ball. I think it was, hot potato. Lots coming at him, and I was like, oh, Nashy. But then I went back and I looked at it. I was like, geez, everything else. He's blocking, he's pressuring, he's playing that defensive role well. he is really underrated for what he brings every game, and just the size, the strength, the speed. It helps us so much just to create, to do a block effectively. When you're going at speed, you've got to have really good core strength to be able to absorb an opponent, to whether it's Day through or one of the other boys. It's just phenomenal to watch. It's almost poetry that they're getting to know each other that well to watch it. It's yeah. What was the analogy? I think it was the Hawks did something, and how they viewed the leadership at the start of the year, and the leadership team, I think it was, and how they wanted to be viewed, how they were, and how they wanted to be viewed. And one of them was, I think it was Sam Mitchell talked about, they wanted, I'm going to forget the terminology, but like a flock of birds and the way birds move. I'm like, it is actually becoming a bit nice. And it was one of the commentators actually mentioned the exact terminology that Sam Mitchell used. So anyway, rabbiting on, the midfield is looking the goods. Makey is getting a lot of love here as well. If you want to click any of those comments, Chris,
Yep, just scrolling back up. I think there's a few Mikeys back up there. There's one of them.
Everyone's going too fast for us again with the comments. It's great to see. I was wondering how he would go against his old unit.
Yes, no, well, again, talking about consistency, same as Warple, and it really helps having that consistent performance from your ruckman, and he's really giving us not just good ruck contests, but he's putting it into good spaces, really to our advantages. So, yeah, can't be happy with the output of him. If hopefully he can stay on the park.
It's not as predictable, is it? Like, he's behind, he's going left, right. I mean, you can look at the setup, but I like seeing that around the ground too. How does he ruck when there's a few more around, and he's making an impact so often? But the second half was phenomenal.
Well, it's just really making the most of that ruck rule change, and has just made it his own, hasn't he?
Absolutely, totally. Who else we got? He got called the Mountain as well. I didn't mind that one, so that got to mention in the MVPs. If you haven't seen it, check it out. TalkingHawks.com. The team votes for the MVP. Interesting one. I'll segue briefly here. I was fascinated to see how we go with quarters. I know it's little metrics that sometimes count a lot. How many quarters we've won across the season in losses, and how many in wins. So we've won 7 quarters in the 8 games that we've lost. There was a couple of drawn quarters that sort of isn't all just win and loss, but in our wins as well, in our victories, we are winning 2 on average. There's a few games we've won 3, but even winning against the Dogs with 1 quarter. It's interesting to see how we're trying to win, just trying to observe what we're doing and how we go about it, because we're not giving up. And that's the thing. We got absolutely spanked by Gold Coast, Sydney and Geelong most recently. We lost all 4 quarters. But to then respond, that was the thing that really encourages me so much. And, fascinating. Those little things, what's the insight? You can sort of break the game down. And I think just seeing little changes that they make quarter on quarter of Sicily move forward. And we've seen it with Dimmer move forward. Just little structural changes. It's nice to see we're winning in so many different ways. So anyway, geeked out on the quarters.
On those stat lines, I think I heard one during the week, and it was something like, out of all the teams winning, the team that has won 71% of third quarters. Okay. So, and when Freo won that third quarter, I was just looking 4 goals to 2. I was like, that might be a bad sign, but we managed to overcome the stats on that one, and finished off well.
I could write something up on it if it's. Tell me in the comments if it's something you'd want to say. But yeah, first, second, third, not as many fourth quarters. There's a few, but yeah. We're slow to start generally. Good question, Kerry.
Massimo's injury. What do you think?
I haven't heard anything.
I didn't think it looked that bad. The fact he went down, got it strapped, went back on the ground. I'm figuring it's not too bad, but it was interesting. They did end up making the sub quite early and pulling him off.
Yeah,
I can only assume that his feedback was. Sure, he would want to. I don't know. They normally go down and get a jab, don't they, just to take away that pain? But interesting decision. Maybe it is worse than we first thought.
Yeah, we'll see. He's no doubt really valued, and I don't think they'll want to risk him. It's great. His age, he's going to be. You think he'll heal pretty quick, but it instantly makes us look at that wing and aim on CJ, Weddle. I don't know that you can move Weddle out of that back 6 now. But going up against the Pies, Finn runs all day. McGuinness is playing really well for Box Hill. It's probably time he gets a call up, I would say, this round, just in case of Dacos break glass, even if he's the sub there. But you probably want him through the game because Dacos is certainly not going to be. I don't know. It'll be interesting. You don't know which Collingwood's going to turn up at the moment. So
it is a bit that way. And they've had a few casualties recently too. So they had quite a short forward line. So it will be interesting how we match up. Obviously, Frost can play small if he needs to. Weddle can probably do the same, just due to his speed and his versatility.
Yep.
So, and I know that Sam doesn't like changing that winning lineup too much. Obviously, there may be a change or two, but yeah, it will be interesting.
How about, so in the comments we've had Deer mentioned a few times. How did you see his game, Chris?
Oh, just kid's a star for his age and what he's doing. I just love the way he flies for the ball. He just doesn't. It's like nobody's told him what he can't do. He just does it all.
That's well said. Yep.
Yeah, being, I guess, that age and not knowing any boundaries, he's just going for everything, and I love it.
Yeah, it gives us so much more option. If he's not taking them, which that's fine. It's coming to ground, and then I think he's probably your small forwards and the crummers, the mids. They're going to love that they can almost rely on him going for everything. And if in doubt, kick it on his head, and he's going to put up a good contest. Occasionally, he's getting bodied out and kept out, but he's straight back in, made an impact, kicked a good goal. I like it.
No, couldn't be happier, and I just hope that his body can handle the rigors of footy for the rest of the year, because I think we need him in there if we're going to keep producing wins.
Yeah, with Lewis going down, are we going to see Sicily forward? My apologies, Cassius kicked 2 yesterday, but we're going to see Sicily forward a little bit more while he nurses a
Yep, you've cut out for me. Oh, no, you've got back in. It's a big commitment. I think he'll start back. It's another week of rest and recovery on that shoulder, and he'll slowly get more range of movement and just strength back in there. But I'm sure he's going to play to his limitations. So it's obviously just going to be another backup plan, isn't it? Especially with Hardwick being the other swing man, it's easy just to do a swap for those two from end to end.
If, depending on the opponent, if Sicily's allowed to really play loose and float, you can probably get away with it. After about 3 to 4 weeks, that shoulder starts to feel a bit better. And yes, if he needs the whatever attention, they'll jab him and all of that. It's how can he be? Scrimshaw can play that role though and be that intercept defender if we need it. He marks really well above head, so I'm confident. Sid doesn't like it.
I to some extent I agree, but a 70 70% fit, Sicily's probably better than the next person coming in.
Well, he tends to impact the scoreboard when he's moved forward, doesn't he? But it can often be because he's overhead marking. We just saw a little bit more versatility today, this round, and getting things done.
Yeah, well, he's quick enough. He can lead and take some chest marks if he doesn't want to extend those arms out or up above his shoulder height. Yep. So, well, it's just going to be a decision for the coaching staff to make at the end of the day, isn't it? If they think it's worth the risk and carrying him at 70%.
Yeah, it's what he brings, and Maxwell, it is leadership, that voice he does bring it. So let's see what you caught a little bit of Box Hill. Is anyone in your mind absolutely knocking the door down, Chris, for next week?
There is a few players. Obviously, we didn't play great against Southport. But, yeah, the last few weeks, I've loved Bailey McDonald's game. But being that fast rebounding defender, I'm not sure that he's going to get a look in. Although, like I said, Collingwood does have quite a small forward line. So there's a slim chance he could get a game soon.
This fellow might have gone. Got a chance if he's gone in, got his finger operated on. I believe
from the time I watched, I didn't take any notice of him against Southport. But prior to that, his form's been pretty good.
I think he was out with his finger.
He was out, yeah.
Yeah.
Box Hill players. Somebody did ask about Denver. He's been pretty consistent, but as far as being good at AFL level, I'm not sure. Yeah, he could definitely come up and play if required, but probably not knocking the door down at this stage.
He's got the two, I think it was late marks against Geelong last week. That was meaningful in getting that win before Finn kicked the winning goal. But anyway, yeah.
Oh, Sid, come on. We sponsor Denver. We love him.
We're not off him at all.
We have to give some honest feedback sometimes. No, he's great.
We'll see. We'll see if he might well. Sometimes these injuries can be the very thing that gives someone an opportunity. It's a harsh game, AFL in that regard. There's one who was probably missing. Yes, Josh Sarong has been in really good form at Box Hill. Yep.
Yes.
Good call. Rama, not as much that I've noticed.
Well, he's gone from playing sort of full-time ruck, and now that Ned Reeves is fit and playing in the twos, Ramsden's almost gone to a full forward role. So it's just him adjusting to that. He's been kicking a goal or two a game, so he's going all right. But I think obviously that ruck position suits him better. But you don't really have room with Lloyd Meek being a sole ruckman. He doesn't need to go 50-50 with anybody. He's just been... Yeah, so if you're bringing Rama in, it's purely basically as a forward and throw him in the ruck when Meek's having a break. But we can cover that with Chol or even Weddle now.
It's getting good, isn't it? Well, Guinea's probably going to come back in as well, whether it's this next week or the one after, who knows? But that's give another little, forward edition, punky gunners, where they fit.
Would love to bring him back in and kick the winning goal against the Pies.
Cool. Wouldn't that be awesome? Bring it.
Yeah.
Bring it. It's fascinating just to watch the chemistry, though, when there's that little subtle changes in the lineup. So it's exciting times. What do you got there with Guinea? Yeah. He's a walk-up start. If he's fit, he's in straight away.
Yeah, and they said where the fracture is, it's not a load-bearing thing. It's what is it? Just testing his directional running and stuff like that. So it does sound like, what has he had that 2 weeks off already? That'll make it 3 weeks now. He really will be touch and go.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Troy's given a really long spiel there yesterday, but high intensity footy. Fitness, was shining through there. Agree. Looked like we were one play short at the start and had one extra at the end. McGuinness might need to play next week. Been playing well. Absolutely, he has. I think that the arm wrestle, I thought it was going to be a super, super low scoring match watching that first half. It was good. We managed to break it open. It's not too many quarters where we've, across the year, when I was going back looking at all that, I kicked 4 or 5. It's nice when we can. And, even in that third quarter where they started to come back, just the momentum to wrestle it back. So good to see that we can have the poise. And that was when Sis went forward and kicked that goal for us in the third quarter. There was some really important things, but that was on the back of 5 goals they'd kicked straight. Well, 5 of the last 6, sorry. To wrestle it back, really solid against what was a top 4 opponent. So it's wide open, that finals now.
Let's quickly touch on this one. I only caught maybe a quarter of the game, and when he gets near the ball, he absolutely knows what he's doing. He makes quick decisions, which is what you want to see. So he's looking good at the moment, and I'm sure his game time will increase as he keeps playing more games.
It's been sorry, laughing at Brooks' comment there. His hands are nice. I can't wait to see him. We'll see if we can we've got some photos of him on the bags before he did the back injury. He doesn't mind getting up as well. So you got Kalsha, McCabe. It's exciting what that future might hold for us in that forward 50.
We'll touch on this one now, I reckon. Josh Ward, who, talking about those Box Hill players who had been playing good, he warranted his return. I thought he was really good, and it showed that he's sort of taken away those lessons that they sent him down to Box Hill for, and he's come back and implemented it at the top level. So I was very happy with the game he played. What do you reckon?
Yeah. Ward is absolutely putting his hand up. It's disposal efficiency seems to be the thing that is the focus that they're sort of letting be known. So I think he came back in. He did pretty well. Does he hold his spot? I can't say it left a huge impression on me as like he's an absolute lock him. But I wasn't at the ground. Sometimes you see what running he does when you're at a game. That's an absolute standout for mine. What he brings to the group, because it's sometimes just creating space for others. The gut running is really a strong part of his game. And if you have a look at the weeks he does play the AFL, he's usually one of runs the most kilometres, and the efforts are there. So he really stretches, I think, with our structure. When we turn the ball over or vice versa, and we have to recover defensively, he does very well to help us in those things. So does that show on the stats sheet? No. But I think he's definitely working it out. It was Colo that said, I think to us at the start of the year, he's running on one of the interviews Timmy did with Colo, that he's like, actually maybe it was an event, sorry, I went to. It's like Merritt for Essendon. He said the importance of his running. So it's really rated internally.
Yeah, no, I think he does a lot of unrewarded running, a bit like CJ did in his first few weeks back, where he probably wasn't getting a heap of the ball, but the efforts he was putting in, go unrewarded.
Yep. It's, I think you're right there, Sid. And is there a spot for him there doing that now? No, probably not at the moment.
Yep, Seamus again came into the side, didn't get a heap of the ball, made a couple of errors, but I still highly rate Seamus. And had he not been injured earlier in the season, he probably would have not been kicked out of the team, I think. I think Seamus will find himself playing a lot of football in years to come.
Yeah, I think he'll dust himself off from that Geelong game where it wasn't his best, but nor was it a lot of his teammates either. So we'll see. He'll be absolutely vying for a spot again very soon. 100%.
Harry Morrison.
What's that?
Harry Morrison, sort of the other one who's sort of in and out of the team at the moment. How did you rate his mo? Did you notice the blonde mo?
It's got to do it for the name. We've called him H-Mo. That's he's owning it.
They came on as sub, was it
Harry?
2 or 3 weeks ago when he came on as a sub and got 16 touches in a quarter and a half or something. But it's touch and go. And I guess it depends what role he's playing, whether he's playing on that wing or playing a back pocket, back flank role. So it's a tough one. And it will come down to matchups against Collingwood, I think. So Liam was
someone commenting here.
Maybe yes, maybe no.
If you can get Steve John's comment up there, Seamus doesn't play as much. Doesn't play much as the disposal efficiency is hard in mouth stuff from rebound 50. I think he's actually getting encouraged to use that foot as a weapon, and so probably is maybe taking off more riskier stuff than he used to. They evaluate this beautifully after each game, and they would look at the decision making and what he was attempting to do. So I've seen it probably trending up a little bit more, the riskiness, Steve. So I agree with your point, but I actually think he's an incredibly good kick. So anyway,
I agree with that. He's got a license to pull off those kicks. So and I guess he tries to do it, and then when it backfires, it looks bad. But when he pulls them off, like Sicily does, and it creates a goal from the back line. So it's you take the good with the bad.
Yeah. Benny Starr there is not holding any punches, floating an idea. Reeves,
yes.
Can we find something for Reeves? Is the trade question there? There's definitely some depth with others.
I did hear clubs were interested, who had inquired.
Saints and a few others, I think, inquiring. I think there was 3 or 4.
It's a tough one because without him there, who's your second backup ruckman if
no one convincing it
available? I don't know that Hawks will. It would have to be a good trade off, or we would have to get somebody else in as another number 1 or 2 ruckman. I don't think we can let him go at this stage.
With Scaife, we'll see how he comes along. He's a big body, gets up. Maybe he's a bit more pinch hitting if he starts to hold a spot, but I don't know. Too early to call for mine. They're going to clearly probably have one more ruthless. We have to be ruthless with the list management to and it's a bit heart wrenching for some of these guys that can't quite cut it with the team we're building. What the list needs now, with the one little rule change. Ned did own that number 1 mantle last year for really good stints. It was a bit of a battle when Meekie first came in, but I think Ned definitely owned it. And can he adjust to what the game's now needing from a ruckman? I don't think he can put on enough strength to adjust with the way that they can put an arm on now. But surprised me. We'll see.
Well, Rama has come along well in the last year or so, and I think he put on the 10 kilos in the off season sort of thing. But he still needs another 10, I think, to be doing it at AFL level. But when he can, his run and agility is going to be a huge plus for us. So I just don't know if we're at the stage where we could rely on him permanently.
Yeah. Fabio's asking about the umpiring, and we won't go into this much, but geez, I was a few expletives at my household when I was watching that first half, not understanding the officiating with some of those tackles. It looked like we were doing exactly the same way that they were bringing us to ground with holding an arm. But anyway, it seemed to change in the second half. So maybe the ump's got a talking to. Who knows? We did enough to get the win. Main thing.
So I don't often yell at the TV watching the footy, but I did find myself doing it on the weekend.
Come on. I've seen you behind the scenes, big fella. I was.
I'm pretty tame these days, but I was getting a little upset on the weekend.
Yeah. Mate, questions are good. Keep them coming in. If you aren't following us, we've had Beck give us a little bit of a renovation here. So it's got a nice little subscribe button happening and whatnot. You can't click on that, unfortunately, but post at the end of the YouTube, once this is live, we'll get that sorted so you can click on it. If you're not following us, please do on any of our socials. YouTube in particular would be great. We've got the Peter Crimmins coming up, Chris. We will probably look to get another table. If you're keen, drop your details in the talkinghawks.com website. Shoot us a message, let us know if you're up for it. But always a good night. It's good to rub shoulders with some of the staff and the players. Enjoy a photo, get dressed up, all that jazz.
Yes, good night out. And it's going to be a cracking Peter Crimmins medal this year, based on us doing our MVP. Yeah. And
I'm fascinated to watch after doing the MVP, tallying it up.
With the way Warple's gone, I think he might be back in front because Morey made a huge surge. Will Day made a big surge. It's going to be a very, very good count this year. So it'd be good to be there on the night.
Yeah, totally. If you can't get to it, yes, it will no doubt be on.
What do you reckon, matey?
We'll do a live stream.
Give me your opinion on CJ.
Yeah, I think we've seen him play better games, but he was, his intensity was good. I think he did enough to hold his spot. I don't have a whole lot more to add right now. I think he's playing back into form.
Yeah, I thought he might have got there a little bit quicker. But yeah, I think we'll persist with him, especially if Massimo's not available.
Yeah. His running's very good. He's coming back as far as his ability to top speed run for longer periods of a game.
CJ is good when we are good. That's probably a fair call.
Yeah. There's not. You can't say that about every player, can you? But he's one in our team. So, yeah, for sure. Here we go. There's some conversations in the chat about joining us. There we go.
Oh, beautiful. Love it. We sort of briefly touched on the umps, but credit to Fremantle to be tackling the way they did to earn those free kicks too. So the game has changed and we need to adapt a little bit better as well. But I know they've made the rule change to try and stop injuries, and now they've brought in these new techniques to counteract the rules, and it's probably going to end up in more injuries, to be honest.
Yeah, we won't get started. It's fascinating to see, but when you don't have a Gunston, when you don't have a Guinea, question, like, what are you seeing different in that forward mix?
Well, we had Brewsty there on the weekend, and he's another one that's going to be sort of going soon, but I guess it's the new brigade, isn't it? You got Deer and the Wizard. It's all the young guns coming through now, so
Charlie's holding his own.
Yeah, I think it's a good mix. They're well balanced. They bring different attributes to the team, so it's working. Morey on fire.
Yes. Probably not quite as much out of Moore this week as we've seen in recent, but all good. It was many.
Spreading the love around and, not relying on the same names every week.
For sure. These comments are flying through. It's encouraging just to see the bounce back for mine. There we go. Mackenzie, good call from Riley there. Continues to fly under the radar. Occasionally, he's had games where he's not quite contributing to the same level he has in other games, but we're seeing more, I think, plus games than there are minus games, which probably last season we saw a little bit more of the minus. So he's definitely playing confident. Loved his goal kicking through this season, watching it.
Yep, definitely been a good part of this game that he's brought in, that hitting the scoreboard.
Just love seeing that silhouette of a Sam Mitchell with his little shimmies. It just makes me salivate. So keep going, Frenchie. Yeah, there we go. Russell saying Russell was down at the ground. I know Bruce was directing the guys where to stand. Thank you. I think that's the sort of thing we're getting from a Gunston as well when he's on the field. Yep. Just the calm head, when to run, where to run, choll a little bit. We've seen that at times, just signaling to others. So it's good that there's that selflessness coming through again as a forward. It's really hard to stop for defenders if you've got a selfless forward line.
Oh, the player we haven't really touched on, Connor McDonald. And he's played an excellent season. Does some brilliant things. But I've got a big gripe when he takes a mark and slows the play down way too long and then doesn't do anything good with the ball.
Why do you think that is?
Getting frustrating. I can understand why players do it at times. It seems like he does it more often than other players do it. And we've seen Guinea's probably an example of it, which I think he's probably had that mentality brought across from Collingwood. But he does it obviously to let the forwards and the mids sort of move up the ground. But I just feel like he's choosing the wrong times to do it, maybe, or just, he needs to choose a better option as his kick from stopping the play.
Is it a lack of awareness then, or knowing the structure? Because some people just have really good game sense, 360, have a good idea, good vision, know who's around and who's likely to be on and where to look next. Now that you say it, I can recall seeing him do that quite a bit, and there's times where I probably would love to have seen him get rid of the ball a little bit quicker.
Yeah, I'll just keep an eye on it. Just keep an eye on it. Okay. But no, I don't think it's awareness, because he can move the ball quickly. He's obviously slowing it down for a reason, and it just seems to be backfiring. It's annoying me.
Maybe he's been asked to try to, make some decision making, observe that, set things up. He is a young leader at the club. When he's going fast, not slow. Yeah, it's. Does he need to use the force with the rat tail? Would he be able to tell where everyone is around him? Who knows? Well, a little bit of a look forward. We will end up having the 6 Points podcast with Tim and Liam. So check that out tomorrow. That should be available. If you haven't subscribed, jump onto your favorite podcasting platform, but definitely Spotify, Apple, you will find us. Give the boys your thoughts. There's always a little quiz or things like that. I think they've just taken away the ability to give some feedback, but we're keen to keep improving. We're keen to keep the conversation going across our platforms, across the different social media platforms. And here, Bex chimed in with a preview with preview article. We've missed Smitty's articles this year, and it's lovely to see we might get a little bit more happening again. So check that out on the website. Chris, I think we will start to wrap it up. Let's just go for an early quote against the Pies, though. What's fans? Let us know thoughts on winner and margin. Drop it in the chat. Let us know maybe and your prediction. If you got a bold prediction, what is it? So, Chris,
I think they got a few more injuries on the weekend, so it is looking good in our favour. And as we've seen, we were very competitive with them gather round, where we should have probably knocked them off.
Saturday, 4:35. So we get a good 7-day.
Yeah, 7-day break is good. They had the Friday night, so they get an 8-day break. Probably helps them more than us, but that's all right. I'm going to have to go in the favour of Hawks. And you know, guys, that I do go with my head, not my heart. But I think the Hawks might, in a similar game to Fremantle, I think it's going to be a bit of an arm wrestle, a close one. But I think we might get there by 12 points. We'll go the 2 goals.
There we go. Yep. Let's get some of these comments up. If, there's a few good ones coming through.
Yep.
I think
mate.
You're right. I think we're good for another victory. I think I'm going to go the Hawks by 18. Give us 3 goals. And I'm going to have Big Chol. He's going to give us 3 goals, and I've got Couch down for 2 as well. So we'll give him a little bit of grief up forward. Can't wait to see. Finn has to be in.
Yeah, true. He's done a good job in the past.
Wouldn't that be amazing seeing Couch kick 4? We will see it before long. Is the Wiz coming back? Bring on the Wiz. What's he going to do? Guinea. Get down there, Hawks. Hawks.
Here you go, matey. What do you reckon? 46.
Riley, our position on the ladder needs that, and so I'm feeling the spirit of that, and I'm with you. It would be amazing to get another win. Just every match is almost like a final for us right now. So it's the mindset, the galvanizing of the group. There's a lot to play for. I don't think if we were out of the finals race, I don't even know that Sicily would have played. And the game was. But I think
100%.
And I think he'll play again. Sorry, Sid. I think he might not be fit fully, but while finals is still in the air, we will see the captain. I am sure of it. So everyone for jumping on. Thank you very much for joining us. We do enjoy celebrating, talking about a victory. It's always good. Check out the MVP article and the pod tomorrow when it drops. Chris, thank you for jumping in the seat. And
all right, mate.
Until we catch you all again next week, now go the Mighty Hawks.
Go Hawks.